How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So this should be a pretty fun one, but let's talk about UFOs and astral projection. And I guess you could even throw in something in there like ghosts as well, because those are three things that I'm interested in, but they all kind of fall under the same general umbrella in my belief system. Basically getting that I pretty much don't believe in them at all. Now, I do leave the doors cracked open just a bit to them being potentially real, and should at some point, if any one of those things be proven real, and I guess we'll take like UFOs in particular, because that's the main reason why I'm making this post. If UFOs end up being proven legit, and I realize that my perspective on reality was so off, it's going to open the doors up a lot more to things like astral projection and ghosts being real as well. But before hopping into that, I wanted to say, if you like my work, feel free to go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. I don't ask for any money or have a Patreon or anything like that. But all I do ask is that if you like my work, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to it. Anyway, so onto the main point. So I've been falling down UFO rabbit holes here lately, and it really is pretty interesting. Like, there is stuff out there that is legit up until this point unexplainable, and some of this stuff we have really good data on, like the whole Tic Tac Air Force UFO thing that happened. And I think the problem with it is, like, there's so much for all three of these, UFOs included, of course, is there's so much noise in the area with things like no. with things like people pulling hoaxes, being misled or looking for publicity or something like that, that it makes the really interesting stuff when it does happen, first of all, a lot harder to find. And when it does find, it makes it seem a lot less credible as well. But, should UFOs be proven real and legit, then I'm going to be totally on board with this astral projection thing and really try to explore it myself and see what I can find out there. But like, even when it comes to astral projection, people might think I'm really well versed in that because of my channel and things. But as I said earlier, because I don't really believe in it at all, I haven't really given it much thought or trying to done like a real hard, prolonged investigation into it. But when I see astral projection, I really look at it in two ways. You have one version of it where they say like you're astral projecting into the real waking world, and you can go spy on your neighbor or something in real time, or even like remote viewing and things like that. And I'm pretty much not on board with that at all. But then when it comes to the other things where, say, like you're projecting your consciousness into some shared reality where you're interacting with other people, astral projecting, deceased loved ones, beings from other realities, I'm a lot more on board with that, mostly because I've had experiences in my lucid dreams that really felt and seemed like I was interacting with something outside of myself. But then again, I don't see why, your mind wouldn't be capable of giving you that type of experience, even if it wasn't actually the case, right? But so that and then for ghosts. So growing up, I've been interested in ghosts for a long time. Both my parents are totally on board with ghosts. The horse ranch I grew up on has had many stories from a lot of different people over the years saying they've seen things. Like there's this one story. It's like really the first ghost story my parents told me that really like got under my skin and made me scared to go into my brother's bedroom. But this was like in the daytime, so me and my older brother were at school. My parents come home from lunch and they're walking into the house. When they open the door, they see this mist in one of the hallways, and as soon as they look at it, it sucks back, kind of give me chicken skin now, sucks back into my brother's bedroom. And then they both like look at each other and like, oh, well, nope, we're not going in yet. And they went outside and did other work stuff. But that story always really stuck in my head. And then for me personally, because I've had a couple experiences that were pretty unexplainable. Like, I'll share with you two of them where one night me and my older brother were playing with Legos inside the living room, and we were pretty young by then. My dad wasn't home. He was a firefighter, so he was doing one of the 24-hour shifts. And my mom was in the bedroom, and it was pretty late, like close to our bedtime, like around 9 p.m. or so. So basically meaning the barn was empty. There was nobody else there but us. So we're sitting there playing with our Legos, and we both hear something call my brother's name from the porch area. So we hear it. It's clear enough that we both look at each other. They're like, man, what was that? Look to the door, freak out, and then run into my mom's room to tell her. Then, of course, she goes out there later on to go look outside, and no one's there. So that was one. And then the other one was just me and my mom home this night. It was, again, pretty late, like 9, 10 p.m. My brother might have been in college at this point. I kind of don't remember. But he wasn't home. My dad was at the fire station. And our dogs are outside going crazy. And every once in a while, they'll go off barking at, say, like a wild pig, or maybe sometimes there has been people coming down who weren't supposed to be there. So the dogs are barking at them and things like that. but the dogs are really barking aggressively. So we're trying to call them back to the house. They're not coming. So then just because it's me and my mom there only, and there has been times where people have been down there, we hop into our truck. So we're driving around the ranch to go ahead and find them. And then we see our dogs, and they're right by the horse arena. And I bring it up, meaning it's like there was nothing for anything to really hide behind. There wasn't any tall grass that somebody could be hiding in. So they're standing there staring towards the arena, barking, going crazy at nothing. So that was one we couldn't really figure out. My mom, again, was pretty on board with the whole ghost thing right away. She's like, we don't see anybody there. There's not like a person hiding in the sand or something. We're like, we'll just leave them and go back to the house. We went back to the house, and, I had a really uneasy sleep that night, worrying about ghosts coming in the house that whole night. But, after that, I did spend years, this was probably like late high school, then, into some years after high school, where I was actively like trying to find ghosts at the barn, where I used to, so like by this point I was living every night at the barn. It was just me there by myself unless I had people over or something like that. So I would go outside. I was smoking a lot of weed back then, to go burn and walk around inside the forest and the jungle and the trail area trying to find a ghost. Well, partially trying to find a ghost, also partially just to go cruise in the wilderness, burn and listen to music or whatever. But I did that for years off and on, and I never saw anything convincing in that whole stretch of time. So that got me pretty far off the whole ghost thing. Plus, right around this time too, I was moving into being like hardcore atheist. Like I grew up going to like born again Christian style churches, very much believed in it. Then around high school time, started questioning everything and came out on the other end, basically being God ain't real, ghosts ain't real. That's probably where I got my strong stance on like UFOs not being real, astral projection not being real, and all that as well. I guess kind of got really stuck on the whole like materialistic viewpoint on things. But anyway, got a bit off track there. Not sure how I was going to wrap this one up, but yeah, with that said, feel free to like, subscribe, and share my work. And until the next video, keep the lucid dreaming practice legit. One thing I forgot to add into the other video is, if you know of a good astral projection type documentary that's ideally digging into it, finding all the good studies from the past and trying to prove that it is real, because I'm already on the side thinking it's totally not real, although I would take a documentary like that as well. Basically, any type of documentary that's really digging deep into astral projection, either proving that it's real or not real, please send that my way, because I would really like to check it out.